What's up, guys? This is Geo back for another episode of Geo Talks Meta. And in this episode, disclaimer, I'm going to be very biased in what I talk about, but I'm going to try to show both sides of the argument. And if I get heated in this video at all, it's because A, I really like Deoxys, and B, I really feel strongly about this issue. But just know that if you guys disagree, it's not that I hate other people on the opposite side. Like, I respect their opinion and see where they're coming from. It's just a matter of me just getting into it. So just know that I have no intent to be angry or hostile towards any people who disagree with me. Alright. That said, let's jump into the video. So Smogon has announced their fourth XYOU suspect test. Round 4. And this one is ugly. So they're thinking about banning the aliens, Deoxys-D and Deoxys-S, from OU into Ubers. Basically, they've been getting a lot of complaints from players to give these two a suspect test. You're gonna have to reach a quote of 2,700 again. And yeah, that's all they've kind of announced so far. So basically, I'm going to sum up the arguments on why they should be banned, and sum up the arguments on why they shouldn't be banned, and then I'm going to tell you guys my opinion, but that'll kind of be lumped into the last section. Alright, so we're going to start first with Deoxys defense, because Deoxys defense is, I think, what a lot of people have been very, I would say salty, but but that would come off the wrong way, so very angry about recently. A lot of people are angry about Deoxys-D being an OU because they say it's incredibly unhealthy due to being able to get at least your rocks and a layer of spikes up every single time you bring it to the match, because you know it's coming out for a lead. You're going to come in, you're going to get your rocks up, you are going to get hit out by the red card, and then Deoxys is going to be able to get another layer of hazards up before getting knocked out. So they're talking about, especially in this post, how spike stacking is now just incredibly easy as opposed to a risk reward scenario. So they're saying that unless the team has a magic guard, which should not be an argument, the team has been punished for their good play, and good team building and whatnot. Another reason that people want Deoxys-D gone is because it has base 150 defenses on either side, which I could see. Because if you run Deoxys-D, you're not going to need to run a focus sash. You can run stuff like Mental Herb to block taunt, and red card to start stacking more hazards. And I see where people are coming from that. Yeah, I do agree. Deoxys-D is really good at stacking hazards. And yeah, that's one reason why it is so good and it's used so much. And another reason people are saying that it should be banned is because in conjunction with Bisharp, to where it can basically threaten you with Defiant the entire game, people aren't willing to defog the hazards away in order to shut down Deoxys-S. And that the combination of Bisharp and Deoxys is just too good and so unhealthy for the metagame. And you basically have to run Keldeo to check Bisharp. Deoxys. So basically, a lot of arguments about how Deoxys-D is a hazard setter. It can run max speed and taunt things. You have to run multiple different Pokemon to check these things, and yeah, that's basically the majority of the arguments that are being made on Deoxys-D. Now, here is the reason why Deoxys-D shouldn't be banned, and this is the other side of the argument. Basically, people are saying, look, Deoxys-D is very predictable. It has one set, really. If you boil it down, it has one set. It's not like people are gonna pull out Ice Beam Deoxys-D with that powerful base 50 special attack choice specs. This thing, you know it's gonna come in. You know it's gonna set up hazards. If you bring in your own hazard setter, you know it's gonna taunt. It's very predictable, and it can be countered / checked by hyper offense leads. And specifically offensive lead. It doesn't necessarily have to be hyper offense. because if your opponent isn't running red card, then you can come in, maybe, yeah, and then you can like probably lead with like an offensive mega or your best offensive mon and just smash it hard. And then you could potentially pick up a 2-hit KO and only let Deoxys get up 1 or 2 layers of hazards. Additionally, people are saying that like even though Bisharp is an ever-present threat, you can still defog because you know your opponent is going to switch in Bisharp on the defog. So people run like HP Fire on Latias, you can run you can continue to run HP Fire on Latias for Ferrothorn and hit Bisharp on the switch to the point where that is not going to enjoy like trying to switch back in again, and you can continue to play these mind games and just eventually eliminate the hazards off the field. Additionally, Rapid Spin is a very big threat to a lot of the Dio Sharp teams, I guess. The Dio Sharp Hyper Offense teams, mainly because you have no penalty for rapid spinning unless they run like a ghost type. Then you're good to rapid spin, and even then, like ghost types on hyper offense teams are basically limited to Gengar, and Gengar can be taken out by a Latias if you run like Timid, and I know the most common set for Latias is Timid Max Speed. So, yeah, there you go. And then let me just scroll down to my post and see what is going on here with the Deoxys-S. Alright, so team support. People are also, I forgot to mention that people are mentioning that the fact it can just come in and set up dual screens for essentially free. Alright, so again, defog checks this. I'm just basically copy and paste with your ears the part where I talk about playing mind games with defog down here. It's basically the same argument. You can get rid of screens with defog. It's not that difficult. Like I've done it before. You don't need to run Brick Break to get rid of screens. Yeah, and that's basically all the stuff on Deoxys-D. Like I know for a fact that I'm in the minority on Deoxys-D. A lot of people want Deoxys-D gone. A lot of people want Deoxys-D gone for the purposes of stall. But in my opinion, like I don't think it's ban worthy. In no way am I saying that Deoxys-D is bad. Deoxys-D is definitely in the top 10% of OU. Guaranteed. Like, it is a great Pokemon. Is it uber worthy? No, I don't think so. There's a lot of different things that can come in and check it. Deoxys-S is where it starts to get a little bit more complicated. So starting off with the reasons why Deoxys-S should be banned. Reason numero uno, that's mentioned just basically all the stuff. Deoxys-D does everything. Quoted from the post by Mike Dog. Deoxys-D does everything. Like, it's very, very versatile, is basically what they're trying to say. You can run a dual screen set where you come in and set up hazards. You can run a focus sash set where you basically lead and either get up your screens, get up hazards. You can run a life orb set to where you can run, like, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Psycho Boost, and another coverage move to try to check stuff, and that is the handle of my chair rattling. You can run a physically based set. You can run Gravity. Gravity's not seen that often, but you know, you guys get the point. There's a lot of different sets for Deoxys-S, so it's very, very difficult to kind of predict and play around because you don't know what your opponent's running. That's the major argument with Deoxys-S, is that like it's just very, very hard to deal with. The second thing for Deoxys-S is its overwhelming speed. It hits like base 500 something speed, which outspeeds pretty much all the common Scarfers. Well, Keldeo can be Scarfed. Keldeo, you either run Specs or Scarf on Keldeo. If the Lottie twins are Scarfed, they outspeed. Scarf Gengar, which really isn't a thing, outspeeds. But I know for a fact that it outspeeds Scarf Garchomp by like 1 point, I believe. So like that's really scary because if you're running Scarf Chomp, then you can just get hit with an Ice Beam and you lose your Scarfer for the match. And another case for Deoxys-S is because, or another case for why Deoxys-S should be banned, is that it has a lot of powerful moves in its arsenal. If you truly break it down, it has super power, which just hits like an absolute truck. Base 120 power coming off a Pokemon with like base 90 attack, which isn't terrible. But the fact that you can turn around and slam something with a Psycho Boost is another reason like why it's so dangerous, and that kind of ties back into versatility. Because if you can hit things on both sides of the spectrum, with like base 140 plus stab moves and base 120 power moves, then like you're gonna have a hard time coming in and trying to beat some things. This person also says even against Pokemon it is supposed to revenge kill like Egg Slash. It needs to use knockoff, which doesn't. Oh, never mind. I was thinking of a different post. All right. So now we're gonna move into why Deoxys-S should stay in tier, and I wrote a lot about this, and I have a lot to say about this. I know Deoxys-S is my mascot, so I'm gonna be a little partial. It's gonna be really biased, but I actually do think I make some fairly solid arguments for why Deoxys-S should remain in the tier. So we're gonna save versatility for later because that's a rant for another day. The first, quoting from Rotom Poison: even against Pokemon it is supposed to revenge kill like Egg Slash, it needs to use knockoff, which doesn't KO. And what stops it from King shielding on knockoff? It's definitely got stable counters that are in no way bad Pokemon themselves. It's not the strongest Pokemon out there. Sure, it's ridiculously fast, but its flaws are enough to keep it manageable. And I honestly think it's time for people to stop bandwagoning on oh, aliens are broken, and actually think. I'm not saying it's not broken, but I'm not going to vote to ban it unless something changes my mind. And this time, I might finally have the time to vote. Alright. So basically what Rotom Poison is saying here is that, look, it has stable counters. Like, this thing is not impossible to beat here. Like, there's plenty of things like priority, and priority is one of the most, like, common things in the metagame. It's one of the biggest themes right now, and it's one of the reasons why Mega Zam got dropped to UU, but that's another conversation for another day. So, basically, priority keeps Deoxys-S in check. Things like King Shield on Egg Slash keep it in check because it can't hit with knockoff, which is really its only move to take out Deoxys-S. Moving on to like the second point about why Deoxys-S shouldn't be banned, like revenge killing is a healthy thing in the metagame. Like there's a lot of things that would just run absolutely rampant without any sort of revenge killing. Like it. Oh crap! I forgot a main argument, but I'll get back to it in a second. But there's a lot of different things that need revenge killing in the metagame. Like Latios, you need to have a solid way to revenge kill that. You need to have a solid way to revenge kill things like Scizor. You need to have a solid way to revenge kill things like Tyranitar. Which if in Tyranitar's case, if it sets up 2 Dragon Dances and you don't have anything to come in and it's faster than it, then you are absolutely hosed. Let me tell you, I know from experience that is bad. So like revenge killing is a very healthy thing in the metagame. But another argument which I forgot to mention is that a lot of people want Deoxys-S banned because of its team support. But basically, take everything I said about why you can play around team support and when I was talking about Deoxys-D, just insert it here. It's very simple. Like, Defog gets rid of screens. Deoxys-S isn't even as bulky as Deoxys-D, so, like, you can still hit it relatively hard first turn without really fearing a lot of things if it comes out first turn. And basically, that, okay, good, solid, we're rolling there. This person is saying like the counters for Deoxys-S are highly circumstantial, and or no, that's Deoxys-D. And basically nothing. This person's saying to the point of support, nothing has changed with regards to their ability to provide support flawlessly. Defog solves that completely. Okay, versatility. Versatility is going to take a while to talk about, so I am going to jump to my own post to make sure that I stay relatively, organized, I guess. Alright, so basically the first point that I make on versatility is that, look, you can pretty much tell by the structure of the team what Deoxys is going to do and how your opponent plays it. If they don't lead with it first turn, you can know that it's probably a Life Orb variant, and that, oh, if you think, okay, Deoxys-S, Frail, Life Orb variant, okay, I got this. All I gotta do is make sure I keep a priority user around so I can revenge kill Deoxys-S. Good, you're done. That solves the Hyper Offense variant of Deoxys-S. If you want to talk about how, oh my lord, it's just a great like lead. Yes, I agree, it's a great lead. I'm not like making fun of you for saying it's a great lead. But you know that it's going to come and set up hazard screens and like die. So why don't you just lead with your hyper offense? or your most offensive Pokemon and just like smash it. It's the same case with Deoxys-D, except with the Deoxys-S, you can just like hit it harder and it's it's a lot frailer than Deoxys-D is. Um, and then people are gonna say, oh well, like not all teams are good against Deoxys-S, no matter what set it runs. Then that's why like its versatility is so harmful. Like you have to think outside the box on this one. Like yes, of course, some Pokemon are gonna have great matchups against some playstyles. Like Hyper Offense has Belly Drum Azumarill, which can threaten pretty much every balanced team. Stall has the Venatran core, which walls pretty much everybody in the metagame, if we're being honest. Like, it has perfect type coverage between the two of them, except it doesn't resist Dark and it doesn't resist Ghost. But you add other Pokemon to that mix, and you're absolutely golden. You can pretty much wall everything in the metagame. TFL's Stall team is a perfect example of it. And this is kind of going off on a tangent here. This is completely different than Baton Pass, to where only one like type of style of team had a good matchup against the Deoxys, or to where like basically what I'm trying to say, it's not just like, oh well, Hyper Offense is good against Deoxys-S and nothing else. It's like you can play around it with like balanced play styles, because if you know what like set it's running and you can scout that very early in the game, then you can adjust your play style accordingly, because even balanced teams carry priority, and even balanced teams carry like a very hard hitting offensive Pokemon, to where you can just come in, if you know it's you can come in with, like, say you're Scarfer. This is a perfect example. I have a balanced team that runs like Staraptor. You can come in with Staraptor first turn because it's already a good lead, because it's Scarf U-turn and can switch out. If your opponent leads with Deoxys-S, then you know, okay, that thing's going to set up hazards. Let's hit it hard first turn to discourage it from stacking hazards. Also on versatility, one of the cases for banning Deoxys-S was, oh, it has very powerful moves that can hit on opposite sides of the spectrum. However, the bad thing about that is it's arguably its best two moves in Superpower and Psycho Boost both lower your stats by a lot, and you're not gonna stay in and like spam those two moves. Like your ability to like stay in and continually use those moves decreases as time goes on. So if you have like two things weak to Psychic and it uses Psycho Boost, you can come in and revenge kill it with something else. Additionally, Deoxys-S is very susceptible to literally all priority. I might have already said that, but if not, like, yo, Bisharp says hi. It can either Sucker Punch you or Pursuit Trap you. So, like, the team support argument, I already talked about that. Essentially, Defog does that. Stat drops with powerful moves. Yeah, basically, that's basically all that I have to talk about for why we shouldn't ban Deoxys-S. And just keep in mind, guys, in no way am I saying that these Pokemon aren't good. I agree. These Pokemon are very good. They are like top tier OU Pokemon. But do they deserve a ban? That is a very like distinct question from are they good? And this isn't like Baton Pass, to where it's like, yeah, let's run Haze Murkrow to stop Baton Pass. It's like these Pokemon have like very distinct checks and very distinct ways to deal with and like you have very distinct ways in what you can deal with these Pokemon. It's not like, oh, well, let's see here. Okay, to like beat Baton Pass, let's run like something super obscure. Like, no, you can counter these things with common things that are already ever present in the OU tier. So it's not like we're gonna have to completely shift the metagame if we decide to keep these things in OU right now. But also keep in mind from what I said at the beginning of the video. Hold on, let me see how long this is getting. Oh boy, we're 20 minutes in. Oh my lord, I messed up. But keep in mind, I'm not trying to offend anybody or be hostile towards anybody. I'm just trying to like come in and state my opinion in a very respectful manner without trying to offend anybody else. But yeah, I understand that I'm in the minority on this situation, and frankly, you know, I'm wondering whether I should even go to get Rex, because you do have to reach 2,700, which I missed out on last time, but I gave up with like a week left. But just reading the thread so far and reading what people have been saying on Twitter and whatnot, it doesn't look like either one of these are going to stay in OU, which really is a shame. But, you know, I guess I'm just going to have to kind of put up with that. I may try to get Rex just for the purpose of getting better because laddering on the suspect ladder really does help you improve as a player because you're playing against much more skilled players than you would be if you were playing at the bottom of the OU ladder. But that said, everybody, that wraps up my 20-minute edition of Geotalks Meta on the Deoxys Deoxys twin suspect. If you guys did enjoy, please make sure to slap that like button and answer today's comment question of the day, which is what do you guys think about the Deoxys suspect tests? Yeah, I've told you guys what I think. And with that. Make sure to subscribe if you guys are enjoying the constant content, and I will catch you on the flip-flop.